What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Swift Sunday here on Patreon. So we just finished up, last week was the last episode of the Long Pond studio sessions, which is really cool. Awesome documentary. It's really cool to see her go in there in the studio, and then she talks about the songs. She says, you know, a lot of times with the songs, how she came up with it and stuff like that. But that was a really cool documentary. If you guys haven't seen that, go check it out. All episodes are up now. But now, this week, I found this new one. I'm not sure if Taylor Swift is in it or if it's just about her. It's called The Swift Effect on Peacock. So it's 4 episodes. I'm going to do one at a time. They're like 20 minutes each. So I'm thinking, you know, with The Swift Effect, it's just like how Taylor Swift affects certain things, obviously. If she's doing this, you know, more people are going to do that. Or going to do what she's doing, you know. She's just like, you know, She sets trends, you know. If she's, I don't know what's gonna happen. So the first episode is called Breaking the Mold. So I'm not sure we're gonna get there. I'm trying to think of something. I can't think of anything other than that, you know, whatever she's doing, other people are gonna want to do. Or, you know, if she does, I don't know, if she goes somewhere, more people are gonna go there. So let's jump into it and see, instead of me talking about this for another 10 minutes, but let's hop into it.
No other artist in the history of music has been able to have this kind of effect on the world.
The glitter, it has settled, and Taylor Swift has moved on to her next concert venue.
Miami.
It's very top secret with Taylor Swift, and rightfully so.
The biggest possible show you can put on, right?
The local economies are benefiting.
Swift's Eras Tour has generated more than $4 billion in spending.
How has she been able to change the game with her music, with her fan base?
Is someone to whom a lot of people find it easy to connect.
Because she's
She
amazing.
has a way of making everyone feel special and connected.
What do you make of the Taylor Swift phenomenon?
It empowers women to feel like they can sort of buy and do anything.
That's a Taylor Swift effect.
She's royalty.
She can make anything happen.
I think she points out that, you know, you should believe in yourself, really, at the end of the day. I think that's what she really points out.
Swifty Dad!
How many people end up going to those concerts in any given city? What does it mean for restaurants? What does it mean for commerce? You're talking about
that's
certain
Miami
places where
Stadium
it can
there.
actually move the needle on the economic activity of either a city or even a whole country. It's mind-boggling.
Taylor Swift has caught almost everyone's attention this year, but her influence might be boosting the economy too. Let me explain.
Misty Hagenes. I am an associate professor at the University of Kansas and author of upcoming book titled Swiftonomics: Women in Today's Economy. I am an expert on gender in the economy. I study inequality, a lot of different aspects of economic growth and development. Swiftonomics, which is all about how women act economically in their daily lives, and the muse is Taylor Swift. I first noticed Taylor.
I'm not sure if that person made that shirt, but that 13 looked like perfect. With those gemstones, it looked perfect. That was pretty cool.
When I saw the video for The Man, the music video for her song The Man, which is on her Lover album. First of all, watching that video, if you watch it and nobody gives you like a heads up and you get to the very, very end, you're just really shocked that the actor in the video portraying the man is Taylor herself. The lyrics of The Man really talk about the struggles of women in their work lives and in their careers, and how they ascend or don't in you know, whatever industry they're in.
There's a different vocabulary for men and women in the music industry, right?
Give me an example.
Okay, a man does something, it's strategic. A woman does the same thing, it's calculated. A man is allowed to react, a woman can only overreact.
I have a lecture on female empowerment, and the song that I play at the end of that class is The Man. That whole song is particularly poignant for someone, you know, like me, who's a female administrator. Trying to think, I'm so sick of running as fast as I can, wondering if I could get there quicker if I was a man.
Maybe it's like, I'm so sick of running as fast as I can, wondering if I'd get much further if I were a man. If I was a man, I was a man.
I think every female administrator has said those words at some point in their career.
In the song The Man, Taylor Swift really talks about the fact that men are dominant in business. In her performance on stage at her concert, she's wearing a suit, she's dressed like a business person, a businessman. And what she's saying is that women should be as powerful as men are. It's a really direct message, and it's really empowering to the very young women who are her biggest fans.
She's a business, and you don't do what Taylor Swift does without understanding how to build a business, how to communicate with a target audience, how to build loyal fans. And there's certainly things that she has done and that her management team has done, her publicity team has done, her marketing team has done, that our students are doing every day when they go out into the industry.
I think we're really lucky that Taylor, with her popularity, with her authenticity, has given us permission to think about women in a way that is more powerful, that is broader than what we used to see in advertising, 40 years ago.
I won't sharpen pencil. I can't file. My boss calls me indispensable.
Miss Jones,
Just a minute.
will you make a copy of this?
Naturally.
We've been gradually getting there, but with someone like...
Was that really like a commercial, or was that like a TV show, or what was that? Because, that's kind of bad. Really, if you look at it, that's kind of bad. It's like she was capable of doing nothing, and I imagine somehow they're going to have her mess that up as it goes. That's really bad. See, I would have never thought there was something like that on TV as a commercial or something back in the day. That's kind of messed up. It's one thing if you make it as a joke, but it almost seems like that wasn't a joke. It was like stereotyping women that way. That's crazy.
Like Taylor Swift, who isn't afraid to talk about her perspective, her point of view, the way she views the world, the way she feels about brands and companies. I think that it empowers women to feel like they can sort of buy and do anything.
If you've ever been to one of her concerts, she's always got the big screen. She talks to her fans almost individually when she's there, and she says, people will cheer, and she'll go, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're making me feel this way." And I look at the little Swifties around me, and they're just totally eating it up. And I don't know how you would translate that to a company, but I can figure that if you respect and serve your customers in the same way, I think that I certainly wouldn't take them for granted, but I think she's able to do that in a pretty unique way. You could probably learn something from that as a corporate marketer, I guess.
But he's kind of right, but I think it's more like her fans admire her, and she admires her fans back because she realizes she was in their shoes at one point, and she was in their position. She was a little girl at one time. A lot of these people, I feel, when they get, so big or, so rich or whatever it is they do, that they don't remember where they were at one point in time. They don't remember they were a kid at one time. They don't remember they got to, they have people looking up to them. That's just how I feel. That's what I think.
Well, for me, Taylor Swift is like our Princess Diana here in America. She's royalty, and she truly is beloved by all, and I think put on a certain pedestal that we haven't seen since Michael Jackson, to be quite honest. And she is just at the peak of all her powers right now.
My mom would stop in front of a record label, and I'd run in and hand them my CD, the receptionist, and I'd be like, "Hi, I'm Taylor. I want a record deal. If you could call me."
How'd that go over?
It was sort of like, "Aw, little girl."
Oh, and she's sweet. Did you hear back from anybody?
I think I got a call from someone, and they were like, "Just want to let you know we got your CD, and we wanted to say keep trying."
Probably an...
See, but that's the thing. This is that video right there, that interview right there, I feel like a lot of, not only young girls should see, but also young boys should see too. Because that takes a lot of bravery and a lot of guts. Her mom didn't get out and go with her. Her mom pulled up. She got out and she went in there and gave them her demo. That is amazing. At such a young age, most young kids wouldn't do something like that. And that shows the drive that she had. And as long as you have that drive and you keep working towards something, you can accomplish anything you work hard for. And it really proves it. I mean, look at her now. Look at where she is now. She is just on top of the world, and she adores all of her fans, and she pays it back constantly. And it's amazing what she's been able to accomplish. It really is.
Early key moment was obviously probably everything with the Fearless era. I think that was like the big sort of breakthrough for her at first. And I think a big sort of moment of people recognizing her as this one country prodigy, but also this potential pop star.
It's funny because when I started hosting my entertainment show, she was one of the first stars that I had interviewed the first season of my show. And I just thought, oh, what a nice girl, and really talented. And I was really impressed that she was writing all of her songs, and I just said to myself, I'm sure I'm going to be seeing a lot of her in years to come. And I never thought I'd think it would be shot to the stratosphere and the level she is right now. But I'm happy to see it because it's nice when nice people get rewarded and true talent gets rewarded.
She has done something that I have yet to see any other artist do, which is successfully cross over from country to pop and stay successful in pop. A lot of artists have tried to do the crossover. They might have one song that works, or they might keep trying with multiple songs that, you might have some success, but Taylor officially made the crossover and hasn't looked back. And it's worked out for her.
I wouldn't even know how to describe someone who can write 200 songs that you could probably have created 200 one-hit wonders. Like one person could take any of those songs and be famous from that song. And she's written that many. I mean, it's almost like just flowing out of her for whatever reason, all of her, her personal feelings, but the melodies and the lyrics and everything else. So she's she's like a savant.
You could do a collab like Pink, right? Pink is still pop, as she did with Kenny Chesney, that song. And it was huge. And country was like, yeah, Pink's cool, but she stayed pop.
But you barely knew Pink was in it. And Pink was like Pink was like rough and tough.
Yeah.
But where Jessica Simpson was like, this isn't working out for me for pop, I'm just going to country, and they just all rejected her. But
so badly.
You can go from country to pop.
Oh, yeah.
Because look at Swift. So Taylor Swift went...
She's a prime example of it.
She won all the awards, country awards or whatever, and then went to pop and became the biggest pop star.
We're not talking she released one album that was a pop album that did well. We're talking the majority of her body of work has been pop and has been successful, and she's been selling out stadiums, which would she have been able to do that as a country artist? I'm not sure, but I think she had the foresight to say, you know what, I think pop is the lane that I'm going to go in and conquer, and she did that.
One of the things that I believe is really important to remind people of is even before Taylor Swift made her seamless transition from country to pop, she was already incredibly successful. Taylor Swift had already released multiple albums that not just debuted at #1, but that debuted with over 1 million copies moved its first week. It was definitely a risky move for her to try this genre that was somewhat different, but there was that bridge album, Red, which saw Taylor experiment with sounds, and a song like 22, pure pop. There's really nothing country about 22. I mean, there might be some country flourishes, but that is a pop song.
That's an awesome song.
I would say I became probably an even more massive fan with the album Red, which came out while I was in college. And I think this is a big part of Taylor for, I think, a lot of millennial women specifically who listen to her, is like kind of feeling like you're growing up with her. So I feel like a lot of those albums felt like they were kind of hitting exactly what I was going through at those times in my life. So Red was sort of a perfect, like, I'm in my early 20s and like, isn't this crazy type of like musical soundtrack. So yeah, I would say it was first Fearless, but Red was really the thing that made me a pretty big fan of hers.
Since
her Fearless album.
Yeah,
which was she was like what, 18 when she did Fearless?
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
I've just been kind of
casually following her because I'm around her age. So it's been interesting kind of watching her grow into what she is now.
When I hear the Swift effect, I think whenever Taylor Swift drops a song, the impact, whenever she drops an album, whenever she now announces a project, how do we in radio get to be a part of that?
Happened over the weekend. Celebrity talent manager Scooter Braun reached a deal to acquire Big Machine Label Group. That's the independent Nashville-based label. Now, here's where it gets complicated, or gets interesting. Big Machine also owns the rights to Taylor Swift's 6 studio albums. And then a blog post over the weekend, after that deal was announced, Taylor Swift said she was, quote, sad and grossed out by the transaction. She accused Braun of manipulative bullying.
When something came up where her masters were no longer belonged to her and were being sold to Scooter Braun, she was very outspoken about it, and it became a thing where she wasn't going to let it happen silently, and she wasn't going to let that, happen to music that, again, she had really fought to have.
But you know what? To think about it, being that she did what she did to like basically redo all those masters, and she like gets them all back, the Taylor versions, I think it kind of worked out better, and for not only her, but like for the music industry as well. And it also showed that, once again, her persevering and the bravery and her not stopping and just the drive of understanding what she wanted. And she was able to do what she did. And she took her masters back just by simply re-recording them with very few changes, which is amazing. And that showed, once again, she helps so many people with the things she does. She helps other artists by just doing something like that for them to know possibly how to get their masters back if they were in the same situation. It's really amazing when you look at what she does, how she helps so many people without knowing it. Not necessarily without her knowing, but without everybody else knowing it and realizing it at the time.
People respect and have people sort of recognize as being written by her because these were her stories, these were her diary entries set to music.
That was really devastating for Taylor. She had, from what I can tell, a really hard time being at peace with this idea that she was the authentic author and artist of this music and these lyrics, and now somebody else was getting to control when and where they could be played.
I just don't see them replacing the original versions. Keep in mind, some of those huge hits she wrote literally when she was like a freshman in high school.
Right.
So now she's a 30-year-old, worldly woman. She sings differently. She has lost the sort of adorable country twang that she broke out
I joke
with.
she's become the villain of her earlier
I don't think
songs.
she lost anything. That dude
Obviously,
was
the
wrong.
re-records, there are parts of them that don't sound the exact same. Her voice doesn't sound the exact same that it did when, she was 16, right? Like the songs are not going to sound the exact same. She's not recording with the same people on all the albums. She's not using the same technology that existed in 2012. Things changed so quickly, but she's found a way to make it work where her fans, because they are so passionate, want to listen to the ethically sourced version of 1989. So they're going to listen to the version that Taylor is going to re-record. She's adding more stuff to it. She's making it this like greater package so that the payoff feels like really good.
She's
and
really
actually
giving
like
you
makes it something that's successful and not like a throwaway product that she's just doing just to like prove a point.
But masters are only the recording of the songs and not the composition. Taylor still owns that for the songs she wrote at Big Machine, meaning she is free to release re-recordings of her previous albums to regain ownership of her work. She spoke about this with Seth Meyers last night.
So when something says in parentheses Taylor's version,
I just gotta say this. She's like one of the smartest people in business ever. She really is. She really has a mind on her, and she comes up with some of the greatest ideas in business ever. She really does. She is truly a smart business person.
next to it, that means I own it, which is exciting.
My contention is that this is only the first salvo in negotiations with Scooter Braun, that she will never re-record her old stuff. She just wants to find a way to settle with him, maybe even take control of
That
her
guy was
own
wrong, too.
albums that she's already recorded. What do you think?
When Taylor Swift decided to re-record her first 6 albums, it was an unusual and kind of controversial move. But it was her saying, I want to control my destiny. I want to be the one to decide whether or not my song gets used in a movie or a commercial. I should get to make that choice. But what she did in re-recording those albums is she made them relevant again. She added new songs, she tweaked lyrics slightly, and yes, of course, her voice had changed and her perspective had changed. So what she was delivering to her fans was yet another product, something new and again, authentic to her.
When she comes back with Fearless and Red re-recorded, people are like, oh, especially the people who maybe didn't get it before, hadn't listened to her before, were probably new to listening to her at that time. We're like, oh, so I, didn't really get it the first time, but now I kind of see those connections between the songwriting, especially of like country Taylor in the past, to like what she was doing.
I do think that one of the reasons why Taylor is a billionaire today and is so successful in her career is because of these re-recordings. Normally when musicians pass through their career, they hit with a certain generation, a certain genre, and that generation, happened to be in high school at the time or whatever it might be, and they are dedicated to that musician or that band or that group forever. And one of the things that the re-recordings did was it exposed a whole nother younger generation to these core albums of Taylor's from when
I
Taylor
think it definitely
herself
expanded her
was
fan
in high
base for
school.
sure.
If you're a fan of Taylor, you're a fan of Taylor, right? And for her to make new fans, yes, these re-recordings and re-releasing this music is important. I don't know if she got any more new fans from that. I mean, it was important for her to do it, and I think it was more of a personal thing that she brought her audience into.
In the wake of Taylor Swift re-recording her catalog, a lot of record labels have already started to change contracts with new artists that they sign. The Taylor Swift effect, it can be good and bad. If you're an artist that is popping on TikTok, for example, which is kind of the modern day MySpace, you have more leverage when you negotiate your contract with a record label. And even though record labels have changed their contracts because of Taylor Swift re-recording her catalog, if you have leverage, then you can use that to your advantage and get a deal that's favorable to you.
Private equity world has been buying music catalogs aggressively for the last 5 years and even more. And I think this is going to continue. Again, this is about recurring revenue streams. And remember the Bowie bonds and the ability of musicians to actually use collateral or cash flow streams in the future.
It wasn't just that she was re-releasing these albums and re-recording them. She was adding additional songs that no one had ever heard. So she was giving her fans a reason to buy them. It wasn't that they were just buying the same thing they had before. And so once again, Taylor Swift was proving to her fans that no matter what I'm going to ask you to buy, no matter what I'm doing for you, I'm always going to give you more. I'm always going to give you something that is going to make it worth your while, that's going to make me connect to you in a way that I hadn't connected to you before. And so the Taylor's version was just another way for her to connect with her fans. And it also, again, her fans wanted to support her. Nobody listens to the regular versions anymore.
By the way, I'm a big fan of Lobo. He re-recorded all of his one hit and wasn't the same. Check Please is
Never
next.
is.
Those two guys were so wrong. Fearless Taylor was released in 2021 and became the first ever re-recorded album to hit #1 on the Billboard 200. I'm just going to pause it so I can read it. Red released in November 2021. It sold 605,000 units in its first week and hit #1 on Billboard 200. Nearly doubling original album's 6-month sales. 1989 released October 23, it set streaming records, becoming the most streamed album in a single day on Spotify and achieving 1.6 million units in its first week. That's amazing. It really is. That's the thing about Taylor. She doesn't just like that lady said at the end there. She doesn't just want you to buy something again. She wants you to get something out of it. She wants to give you more. Since 2021, Taylor Swift re-recorded albums have dominated the charts, with Fearless, Red, Speak Now, and 1989 Taylor's version, all hitting #1 and collectively redefining how artists reclaim control of their work while breaking sales and streaming records globally. See, that's how she helped every artist there is. Just her. Just her. She did it. No one else did it. She did it. And there have probably been so many artists that, you know, just wanted their stuff back and never thought of that. And it took Taylor Swift to do it. And she did it for everyone. Everyone. All right. So we will stop there. And we will continue next week. I thought it was a cool first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Obviously, it looks like it's not going to have Taylor Swift personally in it, but it is a lot of information on her and on her background and things she's done to basically help people or help industry or something like that. So it's really, it seems like it's going to be about what Taylor has done in her life that has helped other people and other businesses and stuff like that. So that's what it looks like it's about. But I agree with some of the stuff, well, a lot of the stuff that was said in there, other than the DJ said that he didn't think that she, you know, got more fans from her re-release. I definitely think she did. First off, I think she did the re-recordings for 100% a personal meaning for her. It meant a lot to her. Those were her life, like growing up, her first 6 albums. That was like her life growing up, and she wanted it back, so she did a re-record. So I think that was the personal part there. Then she threw in extra songs. She threw in, you know, different stuff into the albums and stuff like that for her fans to not just ask them, hey, buy this again, but buy this because you're getting more from it. You're getting something you don't have. I'm giving you more for you to buy it. And that's what makes Taylor Taylor. A lot of other people would have just simply re-released the album, like not even like a re-record, but like a re-release. They would just re-release the album and hope that people would buy it, you know, like new fans and stuff like that. But she did more. She gave everybody more, and that's why the album sold so well. So I think it was a personal thing. It was for her fans as well, and it also was, I don't think necessarily to touch a new fan base, but that's just what happened. The Swift effect. These younger girls that had not, you know, really got into Taylor Swift, or maybe heard some of her new stuff and were like, I don't know. They heard her old stuff because they were younger and they can relate to that Taylor Swift that they can't relate to, you know, right now, if, you know, Taylor Swift in her 30s, that they can relate to back when she was, you know, 16, 17, 18. So I think that's what gained her more fans. Not necessarily that she did it for that reason, but it definitely worked and definitely helped. And I think it was a good thing also for those new fans because they got to relate to somebody that they could see where they were and hear where they were at their age and see where they are now. It was almost like going back in time to actually see the progression of that person they look up to see the progression of that person that they admire. And that's really cool to see that, you know, it's one thing to grow with that person, but to like see where they were then and see where they are now, and you're at a young age and now you can like change your mind and be like, you know what, I want to do this. I'm going to work hard for it. And I think is just wonderful. It really is. But you guys let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will continue next week, and I'll see you later.